Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nitz coming back with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. Another bullseye of a tutorial. I feel like we got the one-stop shop for Adlibs, right? So today I want to talk about how this tool is very good. It's the CLA effects and how it just makes all of the Adlibs and all the background vocals feel very explosive. So I feel like this is a pretty neat tool for what it is, and I just wanted to talk about today about how I use it and give some tips and tricks. So right here what we have is a full mix, and the very first thing I want to do is I don't want to waste any time. I just want to play the song and let y'all hear what it sounds like.
Yeah. Tell me, girl, what you need. Tell me, girl, what you want. Tell me, girl, do you want me? Tell me, girl, do you want love? I ain't never need nobody. All I ever needed was drugs. I ain't never had nobody. I ain't never gave no fuck. Don't need no one beside me. Got that drink right by me. I'm rolling off that Molly. I can't trust nobody. These niggas out here be shiesty. Bitches out here so slimy. They claim they real, they lying. No one out here like me.
I believe the CLA effects is a pretty good plugin just due to the fact in its nature, the way it's so quick and it's so easy to use. It helps give you some contrast, right? Something that I'm going through right now is I generally don't like to start sharing the same effects with like my background vocals and my ad-libs, because I'm seeing that sometimes when you use different reverbs and different delays for your ad-libs, you know, compared to your lead vocal, it adds a new sense of texture, a new sense of tone. It's bringing something new to the vocal, you know, it's kind of complementing it, versus where if you kind of had them all shared together, I mean, it would sound cohesive for sure, but it would just be like another sound, you know, it wouldn't be adding anything new for the listener. So the main mindset that I usually like to have with my ad-libs is that I like to think about it from a macro perspective, right? So I like to, you know, sometimes what you could do is you could just play the whole song and listen to how the ad-libs sequence into the song. So sometimes what I might do is I might have ad-libs for, you know, the hook, then I take them off for the verse and bring them back in the hook, you know? I like to make the listener kind of earn the ad-libs, you know? I feel like you got to be judicious with the ad-libs sometimes, especially on a song like this where it's like, you know, his lead vocal is giving a message, you know, it's giving his experiences in the Kramer master tape, right? And I'm just using it to add some texture, right? So, you know, as a human being, you know, you use different sensory ways of, you know, distinguishing stuff, right? So if I was to put like a fruit in your hand, you know, based on the size and the texture of that, you can identify, oh, hey, you know, this is an orange. Oh, hey, this is an apple, based on the way it feels and based on the way it's shaped. So the same thing applies to music. You know, you have to give your background vocals and your ad-libs different textures and different feels using both saturation, tape, EQ, compression, all of that stuff, right? So we have the Kramer master tape. That's the very first thing that I have right here. And I have the noise to darken the vocal. So sometimes you can use tape and saturators as an alternative to low pass filter. All right, so the next thing that we have right here is the CLA effects. So I want to talk about the CLA effects. I think it's so amazing just because it's so quick. You could catch a vibe so fast, and it's bringing a brand new sound. I feel like a pyrotechnician, if you know, just based on the way the whole plugin looks, right? It just gets me excited. So sometimes you got to use plugins that like excite you and like do weird stuff, you know? So with this, the very first thing that we have is kind of like an additive EQ. This is how I see it. I use this right here to boost the, sometimes I use the top, the telephone or whatever, but how I always get started up on the CLA effects is I pull all the knobs down, I turn off everything, and I bring it up, right? And the next thing that we have right here is distortion. I love the fuzz distortion right here. A little bit of the fuzz knob. I just love how it just adds more texture, like I'm saying, to the ad-libs, right? And how it kind of gives it like a little buzz, you know? It gives it a little bit of attention. You know, when I'm making these ad-libs, I'm trying to give the listener a TikTok moment, you know? I'm always thinking about TikTok, right? And I want people to be like, oh, that part, that's my favorite part of the song, you know? As an engineer, you got to enable the audience to have a favorite part of the song, you know? That's how they get into it. That's how they get engaged in it. And that's why contrast is important. Because when you use contrast like a distortion, whether it be drive, crunch, or fuzz, whatever it is, it's gonna be bringing something new to the song, right? And that's what ad-libs are supposed to be about, depending on the situation. Sometimes it's just to complement it, and sometimes it's to bring something new. But in a situation like this, it was to bring something new. The next thing that we have right here is a reverb, a very quick reverb. You know, I just, like I said, start from the bottom and I bring it up. Then we have a delays, which, you know, they're good because they don't sound exactly like the H delay that I already have processing, right? And lastly, you get a choice of an effect, whether it be the Mr. Y, the chorus, or anything like that. So yeah, pretty much I love this because it's kind of like an all-in-one ad-lib processor, and it makes things cool. So you guys should check out this plugin. And then after that, we have some lo-fi coming in there to degrade the audio.
Yeah. Tell me, girl, what you need. Tell me, girl, what you want. Tell me, girl, do you want me? Tell me, girl, do you want love? I ain't never need nobody. All I ever needed was drugs. Yeah. Tell me, girl, what you need. Tell me, girl, what you want. Tell me, girl, do you want me? Tell me, girl, do you want love? I ain't never need nobody. All I ever needed was drugs. I ain't never had nobody. I ain't never gave no fuck. Don't need no one beside me. Got that drink right by me. I'm rolling off that Molly. I can't trust nobody. These niggas out here be shiesty. Bitches out here.
I just love the way, like, those combination of those two delays. I picked a different delay time, the dotted eighth. It just brought something new, and you hear that, like, it kind of has like this spinning, like, ghost effect to it. So I just love the CLA effects. I think it's a plugin you guys should try out, and, you know, just, you know, send it to your ad-lib group and try it out real quick. Start pushing faders and knobs, and you will catch a vibe very quickly on that thing, man. I swear. Next thing that we have right here is the Studer tape. I love using the tape emulation, and I like to go for the slower speeds because the slower speeds, they have a poorer high frequency response, so it kind of does like a darkening of the whole signal without using any more EQ. So let's listen to that.
Tell me, girl, what you need. Tell me, girl, what you want. Tell me, girl, do you want me? Tell me, girl, do you want love? I ain't never had nobody. All I ever knew was drugs. I ain't never had nobody. I never gave no fuck. Don't need no one beside me. Got that drink right by me. I'm rolling up that Molly. I can't trust nobody.
All right, so yeah, for our outro right there, you see how it just added a feeling of realness. It just added some graininess, some texture, right? So that's what I'm always thinking about. How can I give the listener some texture and some feel, you know, a sense of size using, you know, EQ, of course, to, you know, let them know, hey, you know, this is where the ad-lib is sitting at, and this is what is contributing to the song. So the last thing I want to talk about is the automation that I had right here, right? I think automation in ad-libs is very critical. You know, you can use automation to emphasize certain parts of a song, you know, giving the listener a TikTok moment, which is what we're coming back to. I know some people don't like TikTok, but we got to be realistic. You know, it's a great platform to, you know, get on right now. So that's why I kind of like the TikTok, you know, thing going on right now, because it's a part of like how people are thinking, you know. Slowly over time, people's attention spans have you know, kind of shortened. So you only have a limited time as an engineer or even as an artist to catch people's attention. And that's why you got to do whatever you can to get the ad-libs to just come through the speaker, you know? Just come through the speaker and just be like, wow, what is that sound? I want to get up and, And automation is a great way to bring emphasis to some ad-libs, right? Some life. And I use the mono mod, you know. I just love always using the mono mod because it just moves the ad-lib around. There's also another plugin called Pan Man. I never had the opportunity to use it, but hopefully in the future I will. And, you know, I'll probably talk about that. But any little plugin that helps you do some movement is always going to be your best friend, especially when you use it judiciously. You know, you don't use it too much, right, to where it would distract, but you give it its own time and its own space where it's going to get to shine, like right here. So I don't really have much more to say today. I just wanted to show a couple of extra ways that you can sauce up your ad-libs really quickly. We talked about, you know, the macro thinking about how, you know, sometimes you want to give them ad-libs and not give them ad-libs. Then we talked about CLA effects and how that's an amazing, surefire, rapid way to get a fast, quick ad-lib sound that's going to sound different from your lead vocal, and why it's important to have your ad-lib sounding from your lead vocal. Then also we also talked about automation, how we can use automation to let the music have a moment, right, where it can be interpersonal and make a connection with the listener. And then lastly, we talked about the mono mod, right, how the mono mod is giving movement, in addition to also the tape problem, the tapes and the saturators today that just gave us more texture, and why texture and feel is so important to, making music. So that's all I really got to say today. I didn't want to make this a long video, but I just want to say, if you guys have any more ideas for content down below, please let me know. Just want to say thanks a lot for being a part of my great YouTube family. Peace.
They lying, no one out here like me. Tell me, girl, what you want? Tell me, girl, do you want me? Tell me, girl, do you want love? I ain't never need nobody. All I ever needed was drugs. I ain't never had nobody. I ain't never get no fuck. Don't need no one beside me. Got that